good now. Alright, I'm back, finally making videos. Hell yes. Um, yeah, watching these games last night was amazing. They were super high level, good quality games. Haven't had those in a while. I mean, the last time was basically Apex. Because the World Cup didn't really count. I guess Contenders was okay, and then there was like APAC, but I mean, it's been a while since we've had like really good competitive games that actually had meaning behind them. Some of the World Cup games were good, but I mean, you could always give the caveat of like, well, it isn't really a league they're playing for. There's not really a prize pool they're playing for, so there's like national glory on the line, but the teams aren't like that stacked, and they haven't been practicing like that much together. They aren't like set teams, basically just dream teams. But not the now that Owl's around, it'll be great because I can just watch constant VODs of just high level games and really talk about them and things that happen. Dallas ran just like an absolute whack comp, but it ended up being like really, really effective here. And it's you kind of expect this from them because they were the team before to run like triple DPS, two tanks, one support, and just have Chips doing it. But it seems like Custa is going to start filling that role as well, where Harry might play hit scan or Bastion in the future or something like that, where they're just going to play around him and then like set up like these like either flankers have like effect just flanking all the time on Tracer, or have this like really weird comp where they have double sniper with Bastion, where it's really hard to counter the Bastion as is, and then if you have one sniper, it makes it extremely difficult because you can have these amazing sight lines where the Widow can just like peek down on people and just shoot people from really far as they're diving the Bastion. But then when you have these double sniper setups, it's just going to be like really hard to plan against like where you want to stand because you don't want to be an LOS of the Bastion. You just want to like have these nice setups where you're sitting away from the Bastion and then you're able to dive him. But also something right here. The Koreans love to do this. They love to emote around the corners. So they emote, they stand right here like what Mira's doing. He's emoting around the corner so he can actually have a third person view and look around the corner. I don't They probably scouted this because he was emoting around this corner. They just immediately suck out right here and they hook him and they blow him up. It was amazing seeing that planning. And then, yeah, Soul just has to get out of there. That was such good planning. I was really, really impressed. And then you see the setup here, like already. Whenever they have the cart set up, like if even if they didn't get that pick, they're gonna get forced back. But Soul has like this really interesting like quad tank um, comp where they seem to be like hiding and waiting for the Bastion, whoever's on the cart, to push up, and then they would jump them. But it looked like Fuel was already prepared for that because they had like a triple group of three people over here, and then they only had like one or two people contesting the cart, and they had effect all the way back here. Who was able to just land shots. He wasn't able to get any headshots, sadly, but you can see there's some trade kills, and once they actually push them back, Effect's actually in a really bad position. Toby can just push up onto him. But Soul got to end up doing exactly what they wanted. So they hid and they used their superior HP bars to actually just like take these like really close engaged fights where if you just like so say you take like a like what they did, Zarya, Winston, D.Va, Roadhog, and you just throw them on Roadhog, Orisa, Bastion, Hanzo or whatever, whoever was over there. Like the HP bars, you're not allowing them to actually poke your tanks down if you just hide and then engage on them quickly. So the team with the higher HP pools is usually going to be able to actually like run at them and then actually kill them. And that's just what they ended up doing. The problem, yeah, Seoul can't stand out here in the open. They have to play back because they don't actually have a shield tank. They have Winston. So they really have to play out of line of sight so they don't actually like feed a bunch of ult charge to these snipers or the Bastion. So they have to play safe like what they're doing right now and then just engaging whenever they have their cooldowns up. Miro went a bit too aggressive there and ended up like killing himself. There might have been a bit of miscoordination with deciding who was actually going to play aggressive there with him because you can't really run into a Bastion on your own. And if they're ever given any room, then this Bastion is able to just mow these tanks down, so they have to be really coordinated. They were really good about this. And these comps, sometimes teams will make a mistake that you need to have the Bastion on the card. It's much better to have one or two of the tanks actually pushing the cart and then have the Bastion for when they're going to re-engage be set up in a different spot so they can actually just not be as pressured. Because everyone's going to have to drop to the cart. So if he's just standing close enough to the cart, like right here, in this instance, he's able to just sit here and just shoot the people as they're dropping onto the cart, not dropping onto him. Why does Soul force so much? Well, Soul has to force onto this comp. You can't let snipers be propped up and just sitting in the back picking off people, especially whenever they don't have an Orisa. So they really need to force. You can't sit back because there's nowhere to sit back. They have to run in. They have to force. They swapped their comps up a little bit so that they could have like a Junkrat like sit in the back and poke, but you can see why. I mean, Jaehong is super comfortable on Ana, and I imagine that's what he has the most scrim time on. Is this comp, and they've probably practiced this comp where it's like they don't run a Mercy, so they don't have to play like certain sight lines where they keep their Mercy safe. Like usually you have like someone you want to have like a Mercy pocket of soldier or something where you sit in the back where Jaehong can just put these like awesome sight lines down like where he is and have all the tanks just play aggressive and in front of him, and then he's just able to sit in the back and really just hit shots because that's really just what he's good at. Jaehong literally just killed 3 people that fight, so it's more so the style of the team. Like if you can give Jaehong the opportunity to land shots, then that's when Souls or Lunatic Eye was at their best mostly. It's like Toby sits on heal, Jaehong is just allowed to shoot people. They lost someone early here, and since they don't have a Mercy, they can't res it, so they kind of just have to completely back off and then like completely reset. But yeah, they've slowly made adaptations where they swap their quad tank to a Junkrat and then they swap to a soldier. But I mean, how many times have you seen a team play against this comp before? Like, who plays Pharah or like double sniper with Bastion? Like, we've hardly ever seen that. We always see like at least double healer, and like seeing them like pull out this like. Also, they don't have a main tank. Like, the tanks are just getting destroyed. Like they don't have any pressure. They can't walk onto the point. They don't want to walk in. Miro doesn't want to walk into like Roadhog, Reaper, Bastion, and then he's also going to get pelted with rockets from above. So like, it's making it so awkward for Miro to do anything. Like the only play that he could probably make here is just getting like nanoed. Like I think he does. No, he can't do anything. Zumba gets nanoed. That's right. Zumba gets nanoed and is getting pocketed. But I mean, it's super hard to contest this point whenever there's just so much damage just set up all around the point. I wasn't sure if they were going to swap at this point, if Dallas was, but I guess they stuck with it. They had success with it, but I was wondering if they were going to like swap to like a more standard comp just for this last point. I love how literally as soon as Fleta heard something hit the ground behind him, he just immediately turns and affects like, oh shit. I don't like the Reaper as much here anymore. I feel like there's some decent flank routes, but I would have much rather seen him on Tracer or Widow or McCree. Because you see him doing these weird flanks. I guess it's like causing pressure, but I feel like it isn't that much. Because he really isn't shooting anyone. They are kind of just like setting up sight lines where the Bastion and the Reaper are like causing the team to be like pinched and like make these really awkward like attack routes. Like they're attacking from like Fidget right now and have Soldier top right, and it's really hard for any of them to peek out because they're taking a shit ton of damage. Yeah, they definitely don't. I thought for sure Kuki might play the first set because I imagine he's more experienced on Orisa than Miro is. Like I think even before in the past, like it would be Zumba would play Orisa or someone else. Guido would play it sometimes. When they ended up doing it on like Eichenwald maps or whatever, they'd play like Torbjorn and stuff, and then it would be Miro playing Reinhardt. So did you watch at the start? Did you see the tech that the tanks use sometimes? They emote so they can see like third person around corners. Miro was standing right where Mickey was, and then he ended up getting pulled. Like they just sent a pull right over here, and they pulled him because they knew he was going to be doing that. But unless you're going to get punished for it, like it's pretty good tech. I really don't like first holding right here because as soon as they see someone get shot from behind, because I mean it's so hard to actually hold right here. Like everyone runs Widow on here, and you expect Widow to like kind of stand over where he is right now. But if they ever grapple over here, they get this sight line where the shield is like somewhere over here, and then everyone else kind of just has to hide in this super awkward area where they can get pinched from like over here. Like you can see someone's coming over here, hooking the supports, and they're just forced to suicide on the point. I'd rather do like an initial poke right here and then drop back, maybe stall the card out, and then go. Time is just getting staggered. But hold like over here. You put your shield right here, and it's just a much better place to hold rather than this. Dallas also had a better shield breaking comp, so no, I just mean on Winston whenever he was doing it. They took the fight like somewhat late because they actually let them push up like on first point, and then second, the second fight is just like the cart's gonna be pushed so far up. They basically just had to suicide in and hope for the best, and so I don't know. I don't like what they did. Dallas did. Jae Young's big fucking play, dude. I'm just looking at the kill feed here and just seeing like what actually happened in this fight. So like Dallas actually did like a really good job of kiting. So they killed the tire. That's fine. Seagull's basically contesting them up here like with a bunch of other people. Like there's like 3 people contesting him. So they have the numbers on Karth. They almost kill Munchkin. Seagull rotates. They nano him. And they make it super awkward. So Dallas only wants to really contest with Mickey and Taimu when they can because this Reaper's just gonna fucking tear them apart. But they're like, okay, our tanks are just going to sit on the point. They're going to stall for as long as possible. We're going to get reses off. And they're going to pop Valk. And then Zumba is just hard focusing effect right now. But Taimu was just fucking mad clutch right there. Like he killed like all the people he needed to and landing his shots. Just not let that Reaper do anything. Miro tried to save Fleta and didn't work. This is some season 1 Apex Taimu right here. He's landing so many hooks. I get why they're sticking on the Reaper because they don't have a diva to actually block any of it, but Taimu, if he ever hooks the Reaper while he's like Death Blossoming, then it's basically the same thing as a Matrix. And they have a really hard time pushing out and actually landing any poke because they have Fleta coming out trying to actually snipe people, but a lot of the team is sitting behind Mickey's just barriers, and so it's really hard to actually get any picks. And then I really like this composition of Widow and Junkrat because it seems like Widow just like chills behind the barrier, and then Junkrat goes off into these like other chokes. And you can see right here, he put a trap right here, and so Zumba's like kind of forced to like fly up into this window, sees the trap, and isn't actually able to push up on him, and so he's just able to just rain down poke on like this opposite side. And then everyone else was basically just clumped together. Like you have everyone just forced all over here, just contesting whoever walks over here, and then Junkrat's just blocking anyone else from coming off this other avenue. I'm trying to think the other map it was used. Oh, it's Anubis. That's what I was thinking of. Anubis first point. It was like the Widow pocket, like on top of the point, and then you have Junk by the Mega. Soul's been stalled out here for a while. You can see they just got they got the pocket up here and they can't really do anything. They just have a really tough time. I think they just need to like send like a whole unit of people together like up the stairs like they did here and then just actually nano Death Blossom. And they actually do that, but Dallas does a good job of kiting. Seoul was pretty committed to this comp. Surprised. They're like the only team running Merciana. It makes it so awkward right here because Dallas is running this like this weird set of players. So like, who would play main tank here? Once Mickey swaps to Diva, he's basically got to play Diva because of this like Widow and the Reaper. Um, Taimu can play like Winston, but I don't know if you want to play Winston in this comp. I don't know if Taimu has like any Orisa hours at all. Okay, thanks for joining him. I don't know if Taimu has like any hours on Orisa or Ryan, so it's just like pretty awkward. They're like forced into this one-dimensional team comp where they actually can't really swap that much. They like aren't that capable of switching to some different heroes. They actually did an awesome job having the supports in like the mega room, and then have the tanks play on the point. It just gives like the supports like are basically not pressured at all because Winston can't dive over there. You have to have like Munchkin win over there, or they have to like out sustain them like on the cart. So it allowed them to just have like a really long stall on that point. Yeah, I think they just wanted to get onto the point here and stall, eat some time up. I think they were just confused at what they actually wanted to run here. Like third point, I feel like, because like you can just play like the shield break comp, like what they kind of have now with the Orisa, and just everyone sits behind the Orisa. So you just have everyone like right here. You just play behind the Orisa, and then like you force them to dive you on the cart. But then you have effect flanking with McCree onto a Widow, who's just getting pocketed. And I mean, like, what can he do? Like, he basically just has to hit instant 2 headshots and hope he doesn't get headshot himself. They do a really good job of peeling for Mickey and not letting Munchkin really do much. Like, Taimu was shutting fucking Munchkin down, dude. He couldn't do anything. Like, this last fight was so sick. Toby had to use his Valk early to res Munchkin. And then like Jaehong, he's just trying to play back and like actually get like a different sight line on this shield because you can just sit behind the shield and shoot it with their comp. They have to get like some angles and actually shoot people, but you can see like the Widow is up there looking, and all these three squishes are just playing safe in the back. Like they're not giving her the LOS. They're just healing their tanks and like supporting them. Toby gets like both of his reses off, but then Custa just uses Valk, and then they're just going to lose the sustain battle here because their Valk is about to end. Their tanks are just getting annihilated because Dallas has way more damage at this point. And Munchkin has to walk up because he has to get a big Death Blossom here to actually win the fight. They need him. They need like to support him and help him walk onto the point so he's actually able to like use the shotguns. But if you're like, if your tanks are just getting too pressured by this like Junkrat and they don't have anything to hide behind because there's no good avenue to really dive like here. Maybe have the Winston dive over here, but I mean like there's so many people cluster that he can just get focus fired. So they didn't have the resources to dive, and I mean Munchkin just literally wasn't able to use Death Blossom. You just would have gotten insta-killed because you just would have gotten Junkrat mined, hooked, stunned, so... thought they did like an awesome job on this map of shutting him down and then pressuring him